And yet all the time, there's this absolute unconditional love that's always here, and it doesn't depend on anything at all. Nothing at all. We already do love ourselves unconditionally. We always have. We couldn't not. But that's what we truly are. That's not the character. The character is not what we truly are. That's just a thought structure that we believe in. Whatever we want to accomplish in our life is already done before we even started. It doesn't mean not to do things, We're going to do things anyway. We're still going to have goals and things that we accomplish and work better in the dream. That's all fine. That's all part of it. But there's something more that's behind all of it. That's the most important thing to realize. What is this that can't be known with a thought? That cannot be conceived of, that cannot be imagined, that is real. This that's always here. The source of love, peace, complete contentment. What has never not been free. Behind the dream, beyond the dream, not inaccessible, but absolutely accessible and not separate from what we are. Accessible isn't even the right word because it's not separate from what we are. It's much more than accessible. It is what we are and have always been. Behind all this, perceptions and thoughts and beliefs. All the books of truth, the books that come, the words are pointing to this. I am that I am, is pointing to this simplicity of something before thoughts, simpler than thought. I am that I am says before thought. Says don't add a thought to it. I am that I am, that's all. Doesn't need any thoughts. Doesn't need any interpretations. Doesn't need any understanding. It just is. And as the thoughts fall away, as our attention falls away on thoughts, here, this is presence. If we want to know truth, we have to go back to the 0 point before we put all these layers and things on top of truth. And we do that just by letting them go. 0 point. before everything. Mm. I like that word, the 0 point. 0 point. Yeah. It's a good direction before everything. I mean, why not come back to before everything if we want to understand what's happening? Come back to the beginning. Then we can always put all those other things afterwards if we want to. But there's so much here because somehow the 0 point includes all that stuff too. It's not like that just vanishes because we come back to the 0 point. It's just that we want to know what the source of it all is. This must be the most true, the beginning, as close as we can get to that. From here, we really feel things, we really are aware of things. To be aware before there was a body makes us aware of the body. If we're aware of what's before a body, then our awareness of the body increases dramatically. We become aware of so much about it. And with our limited thoughts about the body, we're not aware of so much of it. We're just, touching on 1% of it. When we're aware before the body, suddenly everything about the body becomes completely clear. We're experiencing it for the very first time. So we're aware of everything. We're not taking anything for granted. It's great appreciation in this. To be present, fully alive, simply experiencing a living body is almost ecstasy. Just being aware of a living body, fully aware of a living body. So we begin with no thoughts about anything, about a body before a body existed. And then there's a noticing of this something that's completely new, without names. We don't need to add names to anything. our experiences, our feelings. We can just feel it fully without interpreting. What is this? I don't know. I have no idea what this is. There's so much more awareness in that. That's what it takes to experience a body, to fully experience a body. It's amazing to feel the energy running through without naming energy or body. Yeah. Our attention can be very broad, where it just is on everything at once in presence, or it can focus on any one thing. But as long as it doesn't put any labels or names or concepts on it, it experiences it quite fully, very, very fully. And this experience of being in a living body is extraordinary when it's really felt. Thich Nhat Hanh used to say this a lot. It's like, I think one of the breathing practices was like, I am alive, breathing in, I'm aware that I'm alive. And then he would say, it's wonderful to just be alive, to be alive. And you could feel in him his awareness of what his experience of being in a living body, that like amazing feeling every bit of energy running through it. And, beyond what you can say, just being really aware of being in a living body. If you've ever seen a 1 year old or younger, maybe 6 months old, with that awareness of being in the body, where they just start laughing, for no reason, there's no apparent reason, but they're experiencing the joy of being in a living body. And they're like, yeah, they're just like laughing their heads off and waving their arms and legs around, just this great joy of what it feels like to be in a living body. It's the same as that, it doesn't matter what age we are. The experience of being in a living body, to really experience that, to fully be aware of that, is quite amazing. There's just a great deal of gratitude, and well, I don't know. I mean, you can't say, it's beyond words. I think part of bliss is just the experience of being in a living body. What it feels like to be fully feel what a living body feels like. With no names, labels, concepts, beliefs. So it's fully experienced for the very, very first time, always, in every moment. It's never been experienced before. It's like you were a formless spirit, and suddenly, funk, there's this living body that you're experiencing, and you'd never done it before. It's like, wow. That's really something. That's something. See, that's what it's like to be present, you know? It's amazing. I suppose it's kind of challenging to teach, because there aren't any words that can describe it. It's the absence of words and thoughts that allows it to be. So, how can words or thoughts help to experience what's beyond words and thoughts? Suddenly, life comes alive. Suddenly, our awareness is no longer so limited. Our attention is no longer so confined. Suddenly, life is rearing up. And yet, life has always been here. The body has always been here. The energy in the body has always been here. All of this has always been here. It's just freedom from thoughts that allows us to experience it again. Imagine we felt this when we were 6 months old, and yet not too long after it, we stopped. We went to a thought world more and more. So long we've lived in this kind of a dream, a conceptual prison, really, without realizing it. And we believed that the more we knew, the more we learned, the more the more we would know, the more open we would be to truth. And it turns out it doesn't work that way. And the whole society believes that and teaches that. It doesn't know about letting go. It doesn't know about something that's effortless, that's always present. It's forgotten. Yet teachers come along and point to this all the time.